Planet Earth, home to over 6 billion people, all of whom have only one question on their minds. What's for dinner?
This is the big world of food. I'm your host, Chef John Veronese.
Do you like honey?
Oh gosh, I love honey. I love honey. My neighbor, my mom's neighbor next door, he has the beehives and everything, so I get a lot of honey from him.
So does honey helps your allergies?
Yeah, a lot.
Do you know why?
Because of the bees, pollen, you know, they pollinate local, they're picking up the pollens in the air, I guess, and putting in the honey, and then the honey helps.
Ooh, I got a hive right out in the backyard right now.
It's a beautiful day out today, and it's such a great day for bees. And today we're going to learn about what's inside a beehive and how these fascinating creatures create such a wonderful product, their sweet honey nectar. And it's great that I have this just in my own backyard and neighborhood of the restaurant. Today we're here with Lorie Jacobs. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm fine. It's good to have you here. Thank you.
Wonderful. What actually got you into beekeeping? What caught your interest?
My husband told me that when we first got married that we were going to have bees one day. He was a child in school, and someone came and did a presentation about bees, and he was hooked ever since. So this is his dream, and I'm just living in it.
He has you sold on it, huh?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's fun.
Well, I understand too. You also help other people get started in raising honey or keeping bees.
Yeah, that's true. We had the pleasure of helping the Clifton Community Garden. Elwood Stroder and Michael Leary got that started, and they wanted bees in their garden, and we were very pleased to help them get that set up. And of course, it was a very proud moment when they put their honey in the Kentucky State Fair and won a blue ribbon.
That's an amazing thing. That's great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, what do we have over here today?
We have lots of stuff to talk about on this table today. This is a honey super, and this is what a beekeeper wants full at the beginning of the harvest. This is the beginning. This is what you get from the distributor. It's a piece of foundation, and it looks very plain. My husband has wired it because if you put it in an extractor and you don't have it wired, that centrifugal motion of the extractor when you're trying to get the honey out will make everything fall apart. So that's why it's wired. But
a little extra engineering.
Yeah, exactly. Now this is gold to a beekeeper. This is what you want every season. Wonderful, beautiful, drawn out honeycomb.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they do all this themselves. You start with this and they end up with this. They have wax glands in their belly, and they just go to work day and night getting this drawn out, and then through the season, they put the nectar in here, and then of course it sits for a while and it cures, and it has to, you know, the humidity, the water has to come out of it. They cap it and it becomes honey, and there's nothing more delicious on this earth than
honey. And they cap that with the wax, correct?
It's great. So, but you know, before you get here, you have to start over here. As a beekeeper, the very first thing that you want to have handy is this is a smoker. Smoking is good when you're getting in the hives. You can put, you know, paper, pine needles, wood in there to get a good smoke going. You don't want to get in the hive without a smoker, especially kind of like midday, because they're out doing their thing, they're coming back and forth, and you know, the hive can get kind of rowdy, and the smoke calms them. I don't see how it can calm them. I
always thought it scared them away, so it calms them.
It actually does. It makes them go into the hive, and they gorge themselves on honey because they actually think that their hive is on fire. So they go
hurry up and eat it before it burns down. Huh?
Yeah, hurry up and get the honey and fly away quick. But what they do is they just go in, they start eating that honey, the smoke dies down, they kind of chill out a little bit, and then you're able to get in there and do your work. These are frame grips. You can grab the frame with these grips and pull them out of the hive like this, and just it makes it easier for inspection, but you have to have a really good grip. I prefer to have my gloves on and just handle them myself. And then when you're in the hive, sometimes you find some very interesting things. Sometimes what they do is they put wax on the bottom of the frames because it's getting crowded in there. So they actually build more cells in which to put honey in or brood or whatever. So sometimes you'll see this, and you know, I love to peel this off just to kind of show people. And then we have all kinds of other paraphernalia here. I'll get back to these Ross rounds in a minute, but I wanted to show you some pictures that are pretty interesting. The first picture that we have is of bees in the pupae stage. This is after the larva stage and before they emerge. So you can see their bodies taking shape and of course their eyes. And then really important here is looking at the bee on a flower. All this yellow, of course, is pollen. And the bees have pollen baskets on their legs, and that's how they gather the pollen and take it back to the hive. And of course, this is the queen. She does everything as far as laying eggs. But then other than that, she does nothing for herself. She doesn't feed herself, nothing.
She definitely has the life.
Yeah, she has a great life.
Hey, it's good to be the queen.
And she lays during, you know, this part of the season, she can lay up to 1,200 eggs a day. So she's a busy gal.
Definitely.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, when you go out in the wild, well, you know, we're in the neighborhood, as where we are, May and June is swarm season. And so sometimes you'll see this swarm in a tree on a limb. Sometimes you'll see them on stop signs, on truck bumpers. We get all kinds of calls. We got a swarm, can somebody come and get it? And catching swarms, provided they're lower to the ground, it's not that difficult, but you know, the higher you go in a tree or if it's in a house, you want to call an experienced
So they just hang
beekeeper.
out anywhere?
Well, the reason why they swarm is they're looking for a new home. It's their way of making sure that they survive. In the hives, if we don't split a really great hive like we got out there right now, it's going gangbusters. If we don't split it, it's going to swarm because there's not enough room. So the old queen and half of the colony will leave, and they will have prepared the hive for a new queen, and then the other half of the colony will stay behind. So, you know, they are excellent planners. They are wired so perfectly. It's just the perfect example of God's creation to me. And so
It's all about survival.
it's all about survival. And you know, you can, with beekeepers, they can get a swarm the first couple of days. They're not cranky. They're just kind of out there looking for a place to live. But like if a week goes by and a swarm is still out there, they're going to be pretty grouchy. So you know, you want to make sure you've got your gear, you've got your smoker, and then you can go from there. I know some beekeepers that actually have hives in their truck just in case they spot a swarm, then they're going to, you know, get out there and do their thing and catch a swarm.
Got a place to go.
And they have a place for them to go. This is an example of a comb that they make themselves. You know, as beekeepers, we kind of force them to make comb looking like this. But in nature, their honeycomb looks more like this, kind of round and a big U shape. Bees are very clean creatures.
Everybody has their own job.
Everybody has their own job, and it's, you know, the colonies, the insect world is just amazing because they're just so focused. I wish I had half their focus because they can get a lot done in the course of a day, and I get distracted. But oh, and I wanted to show you too, when we get into the hives, we'll need these. These are hive tools. They're really dirty.
Crowbars.
They look like crowbars, but these are pretty awesome. They help you kind of pry hives apart and get lids off, and then this little hooky thing here. I'm so technical. You can come down like this underneath, and you'll see why that's necessary, because bees make not only honey, but they also make this stuff called propolis. And propolis is like bee glue. It's what helps them weatherize their hive. So you'll see it everywhere, and they'll glue this stuff down so hard you can't get a hold of it. So it's nice to have this little hook here so you can kind of pry it off, because you'll hear the pop. When we take the inner cover off, it'll just pop, and that's the propolis.
I figured there had to be something in here to make it a sticky job.
It is a very sticky job, that's for sure. And before we go down to the hive, I wanted to cover this as well, because this is what a lot of people love to see at farmers markets, not necessarily this contraption, but what comes out of it. These are called Ross rounds. It's just another way to get honey in the comb. So what the bees do is, of course, they draw it out like they do with the others on the frame. But, you know, you can pop these out, and they're nice and round, and this foundation is a lot thinner than the foundation in those supers, and that's only because with honeycomb you can chew on it. You know, your grandpa may have chewed on some honeycomb as candy as a kid. And a lot of people today still love to do that. So Teddy wanted to try.
I definitely use some recipes with a little bit of honeycomb in
Oh,
it just for that texture and the great sweetness.
Oh yeah, and it looks beautiful on a plate. It's really pretty. So Teddy wanted to try this year, so we're going to do that.
And there's other products too that you have that are great from honey and abstracts of the honeycomb.
That's true.
What do we have over here? You have some beeswax?
Yep, that's beeswax, and the reason why that's so bright and pretty is it came from the cappings. A lot of times the bee frames can get kind of dirty. You know, they get kind of darker. You'll see how this wax is darker than this. Well, you know, it gets darker because bees climb over it all the time, and so that's how the frames get kind of dirty. It's really not dirty, it's just dark. So the cappings, of course, when you get honey to harvest, you take that wax knife and you just run it along the capped honey, and the cappings fall off, and of course we always keep ours. But
and you have bee pollen here down. Also?
Mm-hmm.
And this is really good for people with allergies, and I guess honey is really good for that also.
That's very true.
Eat local honey.
Yeah, and you know, you can find these in health food stores, and it's really expensive, but if you're a beekeeper, you can get it for free if you have the right equipment. You need a bee trap to collect that much.
Well, we ready to suit up and check out the hive?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Excellent.
Take your taste buds on a tour of Kentucky.
It's a lot of fun.
Watch Secrets of Bluegrass Chefs with host Tim Laird, Saturday nights at 10:30 on WBKI.
Tune in to The Barbara Bryant Show, weekday mornings at 6:30 on WBKI, CW7.
Today we're here with Michael Kuna, chef instructor of Sullivan University. How you doing this afternoon, Michael?
Good. How are you, chef?
Doing wonderful. So you've worked at some of the finest restaurants in town, and now you've become a chef instructor. What made you want to be on the other side of things?
Well, I've always wanted to be an instructor, and that's part of the reason why I originally moved to Louisville, but that was 20 years ago. And I was not near ready to teach others 20 years ago, but I felt that it was, you know, the time was right, and trying to, you know, juggle family time and the hustle and bustle of a restaurant was difficult, so this makes it much easier. And I still get to cook with food, I get to work with young people, so it kind of keeps me young, and I still enjoy doing what I do because it is food related.
Well, Michael, what do you believe to be the value of a degree here at Sullivan University?
Well, when students come to the university, we get students from all over the country, and actually all over the world. So we see students that come to us, and it's basically all about technique. It's about learning the proper way to cook foods, from as simple as knife cuts to all the way through techniques like braising and grilling. And you know, when they move on to international cuisine, they learn the cuisines of the world. So they get to take that information with them. But the most important thing is they're learning properly from the university, from a program that we work real hard, and the chef instructors work daily with the students to teach them properly.
Well, off the top of the head, can you tell me about any success stories from Sullivan? Any great chefs or people have gone off and done their own thing?
Oh yeah, there's dozens actually. I've been in this industry in town for 20 years, and I've seen a lot of chefs come through with me in my restaurants, and we've promoted a lot to sous chefs and executive chefs, and you can definitely tell the talent that comes from the program, and they take that talent with them, and then they teach others.
Yeah, I know personally in my restaurant, the majority of my culinary staff is a graduate from Sullivan University.
Oh yeah, ours too. We have the program that does interns, and most times when we hire folks for the restaurant, it's through the intern program, so you kind of get to pick the best of the best.
Well, that's great too, because it helps the students get placement as they finish graduate, and they know where they want to go and how to go about that.
Well, and they get to see the hustle and bustle of a real live kitchen. I mean, you know how that is, where it's a different environment than school, but it's something they need to see, and they enjoy it. They really enjoy it.
Really important to be out there in the real world.
No, you got to see what it's like. Yeah, you got to get to, roll your sleeves up and get in there. Just learn.
Well, thank you, Michael.
My pleasure, sir.
There we have it, Michael Kuna, chef instructor at Sullivan University.
Interested in a career in hospitality? Give us a call at 502-456-6505 or check us out at sullivan.edu.
Veronese, eclectic, contemporary Mediterranean cuisine, extensive wine list, Four Seasons patio, exciting atmosphere, Fresh, Kentucky-proud local ingredients. Vegetarian friendly. Live jazz 7 nights a week. For more information, call 502-899-9904. Berenice, 2106 Historic Frankfort Avenue.
How to Buy brought to you by Creation Gardens, reminding you that dining out makes you happy, so let's start smiling again.
When buying fresh local produce, there are certain things to find the tastiest, freshest ingredients. Today we're here with Chef Cray of Creation Gardens, and he's going to tell us a little bit how to look for the freshest produce for our favorite recipe. How you doing this afternoon, Cray?
Great, thanks for having me, John.
So tell us what we have here.
Well, we've got a variety of fall and winter produce here. I can sort of walk through these. The first is our hard squashes. These are real common in the fall. You're going to look for a nice firm exterior, no blemishes on the outside, and you can also look to the stem, make sure that's firm and intact. That goes for all your fall squashes. This is a red curry. And then with the hardy greens, we're really looking for a shiny texture to the leaves. You can also look to the cut base of the leaves. You're going to look for any signs of discoloration that can tell you how fresh those are. Here we have some local Bibb lettuce. This is grown locally throughout the winter. With this, again, you're looking for a nice shiny leaf, for nice crispy stems, and again, if you look at the base, you're looking for a nice clean cut and no rust or signs of discoloration there.
Well, excellent. Well, all this stuff looks beautiful. Thanks, Cray, for showing us how to shop.
Great, thanks for having me.
Honey, you guys like honey?
Yes.
What are the benefits of honey?
Besides taste, I know it's good, supposed to be good for allergies.
It's good for the skin. And we have friends with hives, so having the bees on your property helps all your plants.
All right, we're outside here in Lorie's backyard, and we're gonna check out the beehives here. Actually, I gotta tell you, I'm a little nervous to wonder what the feeling is gonna be like to have thousands of bees buzzing along me on my outfit and hands and in my face. And I know my camera guy is wondering also, so let's go check it out, Lorie.
That sounds great. You look great in a bee suit. You're done up like Fort Knox, though it won't bother you a bit.
All right.
We're just gonna try and move quickly in front of the beehive, but anytime you're in a hive, you want to move. You want your movements to be slow and deliberate. So that's what we're gonna do.
I just won't move at all.
Okay. And this is my husband, Ted. Ted, if you'll do the honors and take the hive apart, please.
And we're using these tools we talked about inside, the crowbar. And
Yeah, the hive tools and the frame grip, and of course the handy dandy smoker that you're going to need to calm the bees. You know, we're in it in a very productive time of day. They're kind of in and out. This is the inner cover, and listen for the pop. That will be the propolis that we talked about earlier, the bee glue that helps weatherize the hive.
Settle down, bees.
There's the pop.
Here you come.
All right, the first thing that we're getting into is the honey super, where we're going to rob the honey later on during the honey flow. And you can see there's bees everywhere kind of doing their thing. Oh yeah, okay. So see, they're already starting to put honey in these cells here.
Wow.
Of course, it's not capped because it's too wet. They have to fan it. The humidity has to come down quite a bit on it before they cap it. But when it's perfect, they'll know.
So
and
if you
then
have a
they'll
good
cap
spring,
it.
you'll have a chance to harvest.
A bee's mooning you. Look at it.
He's stuck.
Either stuck or really camera shy. I don't know which. But now what we have on here, we didn't talk about this earlier. This is a queen excluder. Sometimes the queen goes where she's not supposed to, and she'll start laying in your honey super. Well, you really don't want that. So the queen excluder, this metal grate here, keeps her from moving.
Be a little more active.
Yeah.
A lot more bees.
Yeah, well, where's that smoker? We'll smoke them and get them chilled out a little bit. And they're really, actually, this is pretty docile.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're...
Now you can hear it, and they disappear, and they go eat their honey and kind of chill out for a little while. So Ted's going to pop a frame out of here, and then hopefully we'll be able to show you some really interesting stuff. These frames, of course, will be a little larger than what we looked at on the porch because those were honey super frames. These are hive body frames. They're a little bit bigger,
You need more honey for the hive to sustain itself.
Well, that, and of course you need more room for the pollen and also for the brood. So it can get kind of colorful in here. And of course, all these are worker bees that I can see so far. When we see a drone, we'll point him out. He'll be kind of rounder and bigger than the other honeybees, than the girls doing the work.
So the drone's probably most likely going to be closer to the queen bee.
Oh, there she is!
Oh, that's the queen?
Ted, you're so good. He knows how to spot a queen. So you see that she's bigger, she's longer, she's got a bigger bald spot on her back. And
is there only one queen per hive?
Only one queen. There's only room in this town for.
That's a pretty good grab there too.
Yeah, he's a very quick eye. But hopefully she's going to get busy and lay us some eggs here, so we can have more bees doing their thing. we aim for no one to get stung today.
And these are labeled by numbers for what reason?
Ted, you want to go ahead and tell him?
There's no reason anymore.
There used to be.
Oh wow, that one's has a lot going on.
Yeah. Okay, I'll hold it for you, Ted. Now this is pretty heavy. There's a lot of brood. That's how you can tell you have a strong queen. All that pattern looks really good. You want to get that wax off of there? Yeah, I'm gonna hold still, I promise.
And that's what you melt down to make the little wax candles and
candles and.
Can I hold that? I don't feel how
Sure.
heavy that.
Oh,
I want to feel
absolutely.
the weight of this comparatively.
And if you come back in the fall, you will be amazed
Definitely.
that the smaller frames are incredibly heavy.
Wow, they got a lot going on there, don't they?
Yeah, she's doing great.
Well, good. I'm glad to see that you have a healthy hive after
Yeah, we are too.
a cold winter.
Yeah, you know, when we first started beekeeping, it took us 4 years to get honey, and that's not.
Oh wow!
That's
you definitely
not
have to have
normal.
some patience for that.
Yes, for sure. You know, and there's been some years where we've had bad queens, and we just haven't had a lot of bees. So last year, when we got 60 pounds of honey, we were very ecstatic.
How long does a queen live? Does she get a longer, gracious life?
Well, she does get a longer, gracious life, but as a beekeeper, you kind of have to watch the queen to make sure she's a good laying queen, because as much as we want her to live, we want her to lay more.
You don't want her productivity to go down.
Right. So some beekeepers, they replace their queens every year. We kind of keep our queens 2 years, and then we have to replace her, and it's a very sad thing because you actually have to kill her. So the other ladies know that their queen is indeed dead, and it's time to maybe accept a new one. So
wow.
Yeah.
It's like I think I'll fly away. It's not that easy. Huh?
No, it's not that easy because, you know, if you were just to say goodbye queen and let her go, she'd come right back, and then by that time you would have had a new queen, and there's only, you know, room in the hive for one queen. So they would have to duke it out. The stronger queen would live.
Wow.
Yeah. And another interesting thing about queens, a lot of times, you know, sometimes these bees, they'll make several queen cups at a time. And the queen that hatches first actually will go to the other queen cups, which are the cells that the queen grows in, and put her stinger through all the other queen cups and kill those growing queens.
Make sure she's
to make sure she's the one.
And you said that the queen, that they're all born the same, and then the hive actually chooses their own queen?
Well, actually, the hive will make a queen cell. They will feed it royal jelly, which makes that bee a queen.
What makes it royal jelly?
That's science, and I don't really know much about that, but it's just a chemical in the bee, and if I'm not mistaken, my president of my bee club is going to kill me for this, but I think it comes from their head. The royal jelly does. I'll have to do a little bit more research on that.
Royal jelly is a honeybee secretion that is used in the nutrition of larvae as well as adult queen bees. It is secreted from the hypophalangeal glands in the heads of worker bees and fed to all larvae in the colony.
It is really cool.
They all work and their whole system here, and you know, I really appreciate you bringing me by today, sharing this fascinating experience.
I could talk all day.
Well, thank you, Lorie. It's very sweet of you to bring me by.
Well, you're a honey of a guy. You come back anytime.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to open my own restaurant that serves locally grown food prepared with a creative flair. And thanks to Commonwealth Bank and Trust, my restaurant is now a reality. Commonwealth Bank provided me with all the banking options I needed. They make decisions locally, provide superior service, and best of all, they treat me like family. So whatever your banking needs may be, check out Commonwealth Bank, and rest assured, you'll be in the hands of people who treat you like family.
Cool Tools is brought to you by the Dine Company.
Welcome to another Cool Tool segment here, sponsored by the Dine Company. We're here with owner Richard Manius to show us some cool cleaning supplies for your kitchen. What do we have here?
Well, what we have is our normal green scrubber pad with a sponge. We see these every day. This is more for our heavy-duty cleaning.
Yeah, but it scratches your fine porcelain and china, so we don't want to use this one. What do we have here?
This is a turbo pad. It's ergonomic for your hand. It's organic material that resists scratching.
All right, and it's great for cleaning stainless steel and cooktops here. And we got the sponge here to wipe it all up. And here we have microfiber.
Microfiber.
And they're great for polishing glasses. And it's lint-free, so you have nice clean glass and no spots. Great for when you're entertaining. And for the heavy-duty cleaning, what do you have over here, Richard?
What we have is a grill cleaning system. It's a grill screen with a holder. You put the grill screen on there and you scrub your grill, your flat grill, back to new.
Well, those are some cool cleaning supplies from the Dine Company.
For all of your culinary needs, come to the Dine Company at 3110 Preston Highway or check us out at dinecompany.com.
Doing things differently leads to something exceptional in an absolute world.
Welcome to another exceptional experience brought to you by Absolute. Let's see what exceptional cocktail my award-winning bartender Lorie is going to shake up for us today.
Okay, so the martini we're doing today is called the Down and Dirty Martini. It's a nice twist on the classic Dirty Martini. What we're going to do is we're going to start with about 1.5 ounces of Absolute. Going to move on to the Absolute Pepper, about 1.5 ounces on that also. Going to add in a little bit of salt, and then about 1/2 ounce of olive juice. The salt's going to bring out that brininess of the olive juice and kind of counteract that pepper just a little bit. We're going to shake that up, give it a nice shake. You want those ice crystals to be on the top of the cocktail for you. Going to strain that into our glass. And then we've garnished this one with some gorgonzola and prosciutto ham stuffed olives. Now that is an exceptional cocktail.
Recipe of the Week brought to you by Kentucky Proud.
Honey is such a fascinating product that helps alleviate allergy symptoms, and it's also a great substitute for sugar. And I thought a great dish to prepare today would be my signature dish, the pecan-encrusted mahi-mahi. It's served over molasses whipped sweet potatoes, where I have a little bit of honey to help sweeten it up a little bit, and also a honey butter sauce. It's finished with a little bit of jalapeno and makes it savory. I pan-sear the fish and top it with some pecans, and it's a great dish. It all goes together well, and it's almost like Thanksgiving dinner. And for this recipe and many more like them, visit BigWorldOfFood.com. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in to the Big World of Food Sundays, CW Louisville at 5:30. Until then, I'm your host, Chef John Veronese. And in the meantime, visit me at my restaurant, Veronese, 2106 Frankfort Avenue.